I got 8.0 in IELTS Speaking, and in today's video, I will show you some tips how to get there, especially in the Part 2 speaking. Hello everyone, Hong is back, and as promised, today's video is about the speaking part 2 of my practice speaking test. And again, my colleague, IELTS teacher Ollie, will also play the role of the examiner. I got 8.0 in IELTS Speaking, and in today's video, I will show you some tips how to get there, especially in the part 2 speaking. If you haven't seen my video on part 1, don't forget to check out the link in the description box below. Also, for more tips on boosting your IELTS Spanish score, don't forget to check out our website, weloveielts.org, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Okay, now let's begin. Here is some information about the second part of the speaking test. You'll be given a card which asks you to talk about a particular topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare before speaking for up to 2 minutes. The examiner will then ask 1 or 2 questions on the same topic.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Here's some paper and a pen for making notes, and here's your topic. I want you to describe an item of clothing that someone gave you. You should say what the clothing was, who gave it to you, when you got it, and explain why this person gave you the clothing.
When the topic asks you to describe something, does it actually mean that you have to describe a piece of clothing, like style, material, something like that? Well, as a non-native speaker, trust me, you'll soon run out of things to say. So my advice is, you don't have to just describe things. In fact, you can just talk about it. Now, let me walk you through my thought process. Is a 1 minute preparation. 1 minute is incredibly fast, so a good strategy is not trying to be perfect. The object doesn't have to be something fancy. It doesn't even have to be real. We should go with a simple top of my idea and stick with it. For me, I will talk about a pair of jeans that my mother bought for me on my birthday. So if you can describe the jeans just a little bit in more details. Something like regular cut jeans or high-rise waist, or they are easy to use.
My mother gave it to me, but I want to elaborate a bit more on the occasion that she bought it. In this part, you get to tell a story and remember this is something from the past, so you have to use the past tense.
In the last questions, you can use a connective such as regarding reasons why to signal the transition from one question to another, and then you can come up with 1 to 2 reasons why you love the jeans. For me, the reason 1 is durable, and the reason 2 is a token of love. Well, if you are at a more advanced level and you already know what you're going to talk about, and you can spend 1 minute to jot down some vocabulary and grammar you want to show off in this section. Now you can add in more complex grammar structures. How about some idioms and phrasal verbs to show off your vocabulary?
Okay, that was 1 minute. I'd like you now to answer the questions. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this part, so don't worry if I interrupt you.
Alright, today I'm going to describe a pair of jeans that my mother gave me as a present on my 17th birthday. Well, you know, I'm not a type of fashionista or anything like that, but I find the jeans very classy, comfortable, and very durable. It is the pair of regular cut jeans with high-rise waist that I really like to wear because I don't know, they make my legs look longer. And Also, to me, jeans are incredibly versatile because they can be worn by both genders. They can be worn in both formal and informal situations. And what I particularly like about them is that they can be mixed with, different types of tops and shoes. So I can be free to express or to show my style. If I remember correctly, as my mother and I were walking down the street when the jeans immediately caught my attention. Even though they were a bit expensive at the time, but my mother decided to splurge a bit for my birthday. I was so thankful for that because if it had not been for her, I would have never been able to get the jeans. Even when you are not asked to talk about something in the past, you still should tell a story in the past. Let me tell you why. Foremost, it allows you to use a range of tenses, at least present tense and past tense. And second, it sets up a nice foundation for you to kind of sneak in a more complex grammar structure, such as conditional sentences. And regarding the reasons why I love them so much, the first one is that they are incredibly durable. Can you believe it? The jeans have been with me for more than 10 years. Oh, think of which is probably because I don't grow up much. Oh, but anyway, it is also a token of love from my mother, so whenever I wear the jeans, I feel like she's always around. Of course, she has given me different types of gifts in the past, but...
Thank you. That was 2 minutes.
Oops. I went over time and was interrupted by examiner. In fact, sometime in the real test, you don't even have enough time to finish all the questions. And that's okay. Even though it may feel weird, it's actually a good thing when you are interrupted by the examiner. It's always far better to talk too long than not enough.
Do your friends like receiving clothes as a gift?
After you finish, the examiner can come up with 1 or 2 follow-up questions. This is a nice transition from part 2 to part 3, so keep your answers simple. Something like this. Oh yeah, I think so. At least I don't know of anyone who doesn't like clothes and accessories, especially when they are free. Having said that, of course, we have to take into consideration people's preferences when trying to pick out their birthday presents, right? Hey, that was the end of part 2. Are you curious? What about part 3? The upcoming video will be about part 3 of my speaking test, so stay tuned. And here's a quick reminder of what we have learned today. Don't forget to subscribe.